Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The time now is 8:01. We are 28th of April. The first quarter of 2022 is coming to an end officially, and we are going to start this super long weekend from tomorrow onwards. So I'm super high. Why is that the case? Because we are busy mentioning earlier, saying that both countries are opening out the borders, and we are going in and out of shopping malls, countries, and stuff like that without my Sejatra or even safe entry. So if you ask me, what does it signify? It signifies a lot of things. It means that we are moving forward. We are post-pandemic or endemic, whatever it is. But I know that we are moving ahead. Life is coming back to normal. But how about business? I have no idea. Without further ado, once again, I'd like to pass the mic over to my dear chairman, my dear president of APTS. I'm pretty sure that he has something new for us because every single month, he'll never fail to amaze us with his insights of the training industry. Over to you, David.
Thanks, Nick. Hi, good evening, everyone. Yeah, I'm so tempted to go back to actually what I wanted to share. How many of you are familiar with the word hypertrophy? Hypertrophy. All right, good. All right. So I wanted to talk about this, but recently there's a big news, so I thought, hey, that really got me thinking about certain things first. So I'll reserve hypertrophy to the next month, but if you can, you just Google the word hypertrophy. It opens a brand new meaning to the word failure. All right, failure. All right, okay. So akan datang that one. Okay, next month. So what was one of the big news recently? Twitter was about to being sold, right, in the process to Musk at how much? Anyone know? You all read about it?
Got how
How
many
much?
45
billion?
billion US dollars.
Yeah, that's 44 or 45 billion dollars. All right, and thinking about the kind of money you're talking about, a lot of people started talking about it. There was one particular, if you have read the news, one particular actor from Marvel, he actually tweeted, he said, 44 billion. Is there anything better to do with this money? All right, and that sets a lot of people thinking. And some people agree. They say, yeah, we could with just 2% of that, you can end the world hunger. And it got a lot of people speaking about many things. But one person actually asked him, the person who tweeted this, all right, how about you? What have you done with the amount of money you have? The guy's net worth as maybe 100 or 200 million. All right, so the question was thrown back to him. What have you done with your wealth? So it might not be 44 billion, but 100 million. What can you do? So it sets me thinking because I ask myself also. Well, I don't think many of us here. I don't think any one of us here have 1 billion to spend. I don't think many of us here also have a million to just give away like this. All right. But the question is, with whatever we have, what are we doing with it? What are we doing with it? So it is very exciting that things are opening up again. Singapore is opening up. Things are going to be, going to meet face to face. So actually, the kind of excuses we're going to give to helping people is getting less, isn't it? Now that we can meet up with people, we can do a lot of things. So as we embrace, I think many people are starting to plan really well. I'm going to go out. Okay, my training is going to start. Physical training is going to start. I'm going to do this, do that. And many of us are thinking of what we can be getting for ourselves. But maybe tonight I'd like to challenge all of us to think about this. The moment this is open up, can we ask ourselves, what can I give? How can I contribute to people? And I was very careful. I thought before I share this, I thought about, how about myself? Have I done anything? Yesterday, one young couple actually drove to my place to give red eggs for the non-Chinese here, red eggs for their newborn, right? Their newborn. And nowadays is 100 days. They give after their 100 days. And this is not their first child, this is their second kid. But the beautiful thing about this is this young couple actually went through marriage counseling with me a few years ago. And it is really, really very fulfilling, to see the kind of relationship that is being built, that we invest ourselves. We have weeks of sharing sessions, helping them to forge a strong marriage, before they die, or say the vow. And the years pass, they have this the second kid, and they're just coming, and we are just keeping in contact, and it is really, really, really fulfilling. And 2 to 3 weeks back, I met another one whom I pastored him when he was young, and he's grown up, 30 plus years old now, working in civil service, quite a senior position, and he's thinking of changing jobs. And guess what? I mean, guess who he looked for? He told me the person he looked for was me. And these are things that actually sold many years ago, many years ago, and they are still coming back. And I think we all have something to offer. It is not necessarily a billion or a million, but just for the next 10, 20 seconds, and as I'm speaking right now, can you hopefully have something running through your mind? What is it that is in your hands that you can offer to somebody who will find it helpful, find it beneficial, that will change possibly the trajectory of their life because of you? All right. So I hope tonight, Nick, I hope not to disappoint you with not really insights, but a challenge for you to uh, think about what we can give it out and so as things are opening up again. And I'm sure in time to come, these things will come back to you and you'll find the fulfillment of it. And of course, I had to end off by saying this. So not only they deliver the eggs, I got to carry the baby. I tell you, I love carrying babies. That is wonderful. I mean, especially when COVID came, it's like, wow, touch me not. Everybody's touch me not. So I hugged the baby for as long as I could. And it is all not possible if not for all the years of sowing to the lives of other people. So I hope that means something to you as you embark in the opening up of all the community socializing again. All right, thanks. Have a good night. All right, Nick, back to you.
David,
You,
have
David.
another one yourself.
This is what I was about to say also.
You got to talk to my wife.
Oh, no need. It's okay. It's all orchestrated by you.
No more about you.
Thank you so
Nick,
much,
to you,
David.
Nick.
Yeah. Indeed, this is really a case because we are opening up and therefore we are all moving forward. All of us are excited. I have no idea about you, but for me, definitely I'm very excited. Prior to this session for this evening, I was talking to two persons for this evening. This afternoon, we are all talking about what can we contribute and how can we do it. So I think that this message that David brought on earlier is definitely not a coincidence for me. Now, without further ado, for this evening, I'm going to share with you more since that since all of us know that it's opening up what we can do, and we definitely know that SEO is one of the things that all of us are hungry for, and we wish to know what to do and how to do so that we can reach out to more people. I'm very sure that with SEO, good SEO, we can offer ourselves in many different ways. So tonight, Eugene, someone whom I met many years back, but I promise you, I totally forgotten that we have met, but thankfully he remembered me. And once I reconnected with him again, immediately I invited him to come online to join us. Thank you so much, Eugene, for willingly coming forward to give to our APTS Society, the association, this gift of how to go on SEO. I must confess I'm a total idiot in this area. So tonight, Eugene going to share with us how to win big and how to rank high on Google. I believe that many of V as in terms of trainers, this is an area that we are very, very poor or weak in. But tonight, Eugene is going to share with us how to rank high and how to be, what's that called? Be notable, be ranked number one on the Google. And this is something definitely the APTS has done well. When it comes for associate professional trainer, we are ranked number one. Okay. How did we do it? You must talk to David because David is the one who's behind it. But tonight, Eugene is going to share with us how to do well to dominate on Google. And Eugene is known as a SEO King in digital marketing, and he was a former digital director of Standard Chartered Bank, retail banking in Singapore. So tonight, Eugene is going to share with us all these details and how to do it. So without further ado, I'm going to pass the mic over to Eugene. Eugene, over to you, because I know that you have every one of us ready and we are all ready to learn from you. Eugene, over to you, please.
Thanks, Nick. Thanks so much. Firstly, thanks, guys. Thanks the opportunity to APTS for this speaking opportunity. I would like to thank Mr. President David, and also would like to thank Nick for inviting me. So without further ado, we shall go on the topic proper. We're gonna cover search engine optimization, a topic that is very complicated that I could take 5 days to deliver, but I'm gonna deliver for you in 45 minutes, right? So let me share my screen. So okay, everybody can see my screen, right? So tonight we're gonna talk about discover your searchability factor. And when we discover our searchability factor, what does it mean to be searchable, and why is it important for our business, and why is it important that people are being able to find us in Google? So we will dive right straight into it. So a bit of background about the introduction about myself first. I'm Eugene, the SEO King, my careers. I'm the former digital director of Standard Chartered Retail Banking in Singapore. I was also involved in the digitalization efforts of the Catholic Church in Singapore, where we help train volunteers and help set up their websites as well. Before that, I have also experiences in implementing customer relationship management systems and shopper loyalty programs for the largest shopping malls in Singapore, and we also do PDPA consultancy. I'm an avid digital marketing strategist, and I'm a certified search engine optimization principal consultant, and I'm affectionately called SEO King by the internet marketing community, right? I manage 360 degrees digital marketing campaign all the way from SEO, digital ads, and also websites and lead generation. I was a mentor at Litian Academy, mentoring their professional diploma in digital marketing implementation, and I'm currently a startup mentor at Republic Poly Entrepreneurship Community Mentorship Scheme, right? So that's a rough background about me. So we move right straight into it. Why is it important to be found on search? So we're gonna ask the question, right? So whoever that wants that feels the answer, you can unmute and just answer, right? We try to make this an interactive session. So why is it important to be found on search, right? John, John, you want to try?
Then you can provide service to people on your specialty.
Yes, that's a very good response, right? So we're being found on Google or in search enables us to increase our visibility of our business. It also enhances user trust, because if your business appear on the page 1, which has only 10 results, it means that you are serious in doing business, right? It increases your website traffic, and the more website traffic you have, the higher conversion you have to sales, and it helps you improve your customer experience on the website, right? So now let's take an example of what is a searchable business, and I will show you right now. So hang on. Right. So we start with a search engine in mind, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna give an example of what is a searchable business. Now, before you check the ranking of search engine results, you must always ensure that you are not logged in Google. This is an example that I'm already logged in Google. So what I need to do is I need to sign out of Google. So this is an example that I already completely signed out of Google, or I open a new incognito window. Why is it so? It's because if you are signed in Google, Google will show the results of your own personal preferences, the websites that you serve, and they will put the websites that you serve above, giving you the false impression that you think that your website is ranking. Because when we are working on our website, there are so many times where we visited our website. So in order to prevent this, we make sure that we are totally locked out or incognito mode. So the example that we are going to do tonight is wedding eye sculpture. Wedding eye sculpture Singapore. So as you can see, wedding eye sculpture Singapore, 15 million results. And one thing is interesting, you will see that Google actually pull out this thing called the image pack, PACK. It's a pack of image grouped together. This is image pack. And as you can see, when you're looking at this image pack, there are a few images that stands out, particularly those with the logo. This is intentionally done for my customer. So my customer is, so for example, if a couple that is looking for wedding ice sculpture Singapore, and the couple finds that this ice sculpture is nice with a love, and then they can put champagne below, they know that this ice sculpture is from Takli, the company, and they know that icecarvingsingapore.com, this is where they go and make their inquiry. So as you can see, there are several images along side by side with their competitor that doesn't have the logo. This is one strategy in which you can rank just by doing SEO for images. But we are not done yet, right? So I will try to reveal everything in the 45 minutes. Next. And as you can see here, this is Google page 1, number 1. So Ice Carving Singapore is the website that I did for Takli, right? So this is, I have number 1, and you can see that is ranking is Google give me a expanded view. Because my website is relevant, Google give me a expanded view. So I take up so much of real estate. This is my competitor. This is the Takli competitor, which is number 2. But I took up so much of real estate because my website is relevant. Next, you'll notice that there is also a video pack. And the video pack, these 2 videos are actually from the Takli YouTube channel. So videos also rank on YouTube as well. Next, we have come down to this thing called the map pack, MAP, map pack, a group of maps, and this is Takli, right? And right down at the bottom, you have the Pinterest, you have the hot frog listing, and that's it, right? AD is ads. When you see AD is ads. So let's make a count here. So we are ranked in image pack, that's number 1. We are ranked in Google page 1, number 1, but we have a very big expanded number 1, right? And then we are ranked in videos, that's 3. We have a ranking in map, that's 4. We have a ranking, our Pinterest rank, that's 5. Our hot frog rank, that's 6. So, ladies and gentlemen, Google page 1 has 10 results. And for the search term of wedding ice sculpture Singapore, which has 15 million results, I was able to rank 6 out of 10 for Takli. Who thinks this is awesome, right? Right. So with that, I'm gonna share with you further on how I'm able to do this, right? We will now demystify this. So this is the end game. We have seen that this is possible. So now what we are gonna do is we're gonna demystify this, right? Hang on, All right. So we have seen what is a searchable business, right? We have get into the mind of now what we want to do is we want to define what is searchability. Searchability is the state of being searchable, and what are the ways that people will search for you. People will search for you in various ways. For example, people will go into YouTube and search for you. People will go into Facebook and search for you. So people will go to Facebook and search for wedding ice sculpture. So is your Facebook post having the wedding ice sculpture word in there? Is your Instagram post having that? Is your LinkedIn having that? And of course, the main thing is Google. So in a nutshell, SEO is not just only about optimizing your website. It's also optimizing your whole social media and your whole social media content strategy. And with that is why you can see that even YouTube is ranked, photos are ranked, and also Pinterest are ranked. right? Even Facebook page can be ranked as well, right? So now we move to this part which we call the searchability blueprint. And the searchability blueprint defines everything we need to do in order to achieve the search engine optimization results. And the first part of the blueprint, we define the market, the audience, and the competitor. This is to enable us in understanding the market. And we start with the market positioning analysis, which basically we need to define the market, identify the niche, what are we doing? Like in that case, it was eye sculpture. And then we zoom into the sub niche if it's possible. For example, if you say weight loss is a very big industry. So are you talking about weight loss for women? Then you zoom down. But then weight loss for women is still too big. Then you zoom down. Weight loss for women who have just given birth, right? So then you focus on weight loss for women who have just given birth, and you are able to conquer the niche before you move to weight loss for women who wants to get married. And that's how you conquer your market positioning. Next, we talk about target audience analysis. In target audience analysis, you need to understand who is your audience persona, what's their age, what's their gender, what's their interest, and ask yourself, can you map to a physical person? Can you map to your niece who is a university student who has certain likes, who likes Korean food and all that? The more you can map to a person, the better you'll be able to target your marketing through it. Next, competitor analysis is important. A lot of businesses do not even know who are their top 3 competitors. If you do not know who your competitors are, how do you know whether how strong are they on social media? Whether do they play ads? Do they have a very strong SEO strategy? You won't know, right? Cannot be everybody is your competitor. You also need to know what are they doing online and offline, and how do they compare to me, and that's important. So that is the first part of the searchability blueprint, which defines market, audience, and competitor. Next, we come to business and branding portion of the searchability blueprint. And type of business to do. This is very interesting, right? A lot of people want to do a Me Too business. People start bubble tea. I also want to start bubble tea, right? This is so true, right? Instead of being Me Too business, why can't you go ahead of the curve and start something that everybody will have to play catch up with you? That is even more advantageous because you have a first mover advantage, and you create your own blue ocean where people will just find it very difficult to catch up with you, right? The next thing is business structure analysis. We look at the whole business. We look at the effect of the pandemic. Pandemic has really affected a lot of business. Define your business model. We have this thing called the business model canvas. You can Google about it. Model canvas actually defines a very structured way in which you can define your partners, your activities, your resources, value proposition, channels, customer segments, and customer relationship, cost structure, and revenue. So you use the business model canvas to map your business structure analysis. Next, you go on a branding exercise. You brand your company. You decide how you're going to personal brand yourself and establish yourself as a market leader and establish yourself as a key opinion leader. And just because I brand myself as SEO King, I've been invited to talks. I've been invited to sit on panels. I've been invited to panel discussion just because I brand myself as SEO King and just because I have a YouTube channel as well, right? So that is business and branding. Business and branding will define your market positioning, right? Business and branding will define your market positioning. Next, we move to the searchability factor, the portion on design and copywriting and keywords. This will define the user experience, which is very important. So effective user experience design, the use of colors, consideration, the use of fonts. If you do not know who your target audience, what is their age, whether your business is selling more to female or male, then you'll be lost in this part because you don't know what colors to use, right? What is the language? Do you need to use a bit more feminine language because your business is selling more to female, right? You need to consider your website to have design consistency, mobile optimized, and your load speed is very important for SEO as well as having a secure sockets layer, which is a HTTPS connection to your website. This is a must in SEO today. Next, you talk about magnetic persuasion, and magnetic persuasion here, we talk about copywriting, we talk about what are the platform, different social media, different. Are you talking to millennials? Millennials like short, sharp information. They have no time to digest a 20-minute video on social media. So instead, you have a 1 minute or 1.5 minutes video, and if they are interested, then they watch the longer form video on your YouTube. Right? So you consider all this, your market, target audience, competitor. Keep it simple. Do not use jargons. Make it easy for people to understand, so that will reduce the bounce rate on your website. Right? Effective keyword strategy. You need to understand what is a buying keyword. So the problem with this is that people can do SEO. SEO is about keywords. You're just working on the keywords. But the problem is this. Today, a property agent come to me and said, Eugene, I want to be optimized for property agent Singapore because I'm selling property, or I'm selling new launch property Singapore. But let me ask you a practical question. Nobody who is finding a property will search for property agent Singapore. Instead, if people are finding for property, what they will do, they will search for buy forum HDB Toa Payoh. So you are better optimizing your SEO using all these keywords rather than just property agent Singapore. So you need to know this concept called the buying keywords. Buying keywords are keywords with strong buyer intention, such that when the buyer search for the information, they are ready to buy. And of course, you need to have presence in your various social media, right? And an example of the property agent is already given, right? So this forms the design, copy, and keywords user experience form, right? So how do we get into the mind of Google, right? So this is something that we want to look at, right? And we look at by having this whiteboard here. You guys can see my whiteboard, right? Right? Okay, so this is Google. So when Google first discover your website, this is your website with many pages. What does Google first look for when you are when Google is discovering your website? It starts with a search, isn't it? And search is triggered by keywords. It's actually a key phrase, but for simplicity's sake, we talk about keywords, right? So keywords, then Google will see that perhaps this page will show up in the Google search result because this page optimized for keywords. Then now Google looks at the keywords and Google looks at your content now. And your content, Google try to make sense of topics. What are you writing about? And for example, if you are writing about topics, you're writing about Apple. So Google trying to make sense that Google saw the keyword Apple. Now Google trying to make sense that you are talking about Apple the fruit or Apple the company. And if Google sees iPad, MacBook Pro, Steve Jobs, Tim Cook, and all this, then Google know that you are talking about Apple the company. So Google, from keywords, Google then try to understand topics, and from topics, Google try to understand the context in which this topic is written for. And when Google tries to understand the context in which these topics are and how the topics closely correlated to one another, this is the time where Google starts to look at your whole website and what topic you represent when Google finish crawling all your websites. And then Google then looks at your topics, your context.
Hi, sorry, Eugene.
Yeah.
I think we are seeing your first slide only. which is your achieve. How can the
Oh, sorry. Okay.
yeah. So I will have missed out all the slides that you have been sharing earlier. So sorry about that.
Sorry. Let me clear that.
No problem with that.
I'm so sorry about this. Okay.
But definitely you make me very excited now. I'm just thinking that what can I do so that I also want to link, I also want to be ranked on all the social media I mentioned earlier.
Okay. Just give me a minute. Let me just clear this.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. For those who have just joined us, this is Nick, the MC for this evening, and definitely thank you for joining the APTS, our monthly virtual networking session. If you are fellow trainers, speaker, you know of anyone who can contribute to the training society or space, please let me know. I'll be most willing to arrange to invite you or your friends to come online to share with all our friends. And this is really but an act of love because we really wish that every one of us will continue to grow and inspire more lives in the training space. Back to you, Eugene, if you're ready.
All right. Thanks, Nick. Apologies. So I'm going to share my whiteboard again, and I take it from the top again. Apologies for that. Can you guys see my whiteboard? Okay, right? Yep. Okay. So from the start, so now we want to see how does Google look at the website. We want to understand a little bit about how Google works, right? So here's Google. So here's Google, and Google starts with a search, right? A search, and search is all about keywords. So the first step is Google actually look at keywords, and from the keywords, let's say this is your website of many pages, and let's say for this particular keyword, which is ABC, Google then realized that this page has the keyword ABC, so Google will rank ABC, right? So now let's say for illustration purpose, then next Google will look at what kind of topics are your website on. That means what kind of topic is on this page.
Eugene, I don't think any of us can see anything down there except just whiteboard. No, I don't know about the rest. I cannot see
I can't
anything.
see anything.
Oh, hang on. Okay, I'm my apologies. My apologies. Okay, let me start from the top again. I shared the wrong whiteboard. Apologies. Okay, can you all see? Now okay, right? Okay, can you all see the word Google?
Yeah.
Okay, alright. So from the Google search, Google looks at firstly the keywords, right? And let's say your website has many pages, and let's say the keyword is Apple. So Google will then realize that, okay, this page talks about Apple. Page 2, right, talks about Apple, right? And then Google knows that page 2 is talking about Apple, right? But then next, Google will need to understand what are the topics that you're writing about. And Google only understands Apple. The next question that Google asks is whether you're talking about Apple the company or Apple the fruit. So Google will need to understand your topics of this particular page. And when Google sees that you are writing about iPad, iPhone, MacBook Pro, Tim Cook, Steve Jobs, then Google understand that you are writing about Apple the company, and Google understands that the context of your page is actually Apple the company. And that is very important, because when Google understands your context, eventually Google will then understand that your whole website is talking about a particular topic, right? And Google understands that your whole website is talking about a particular topic in a particular context. Now, when Google understands that your website is talking about a particular topic and particular context, then Google takes this understanding and compares it with company B and company C. And then now Google asks who is more relevant. And if Google realize that you are more relevant because you cover more topics and you cover the topics more in depth, then Google will rank you higher. And when Google ranks you higher, you then get the authority. And that's how you can rank higher than your competitor, right? So we will cover this a little, but I think this is just an overview of this. Okay, let me just share my screen. Apologies for the technical hiccup. Right? So now next we come to the concept of, now Google didn't come first, Yahoo came first. How did Google able to dominate? Right? So Yahoo came in 1994 and Google came in only 1998. And how is Google able to dominate the search engine, right? And basically Google was able to provide a very user relevant, and Google, when the user are searching for information, Google returns a lot of relevant results. And because Google is more relevant than Yahoo, people sticks to Google, right? And that's the thing. Next, in 2010 and 2011, Google start buying tech companies, and Google bought Picasa in 2004, and today it forms Google Photos. If your business is not on Google Photos, then you're missing the part where your business photos can appear in the image pack as what I shown you. October 2006, Google bought YouTube. If your business is not on YouTube, as you can see, YouTube gets shown in the organic results. So there's also, Google also bought AdSense and AdWords. Today it forms the basis of Google advertising, Google Ads. Google also bought Urchin Software in 2005, and today it forms Google Analytics. A lot of businesses still do not have Google Analytics on their website. Why? Because if you do not have Google Analytics, then how do you know how many people visit? And also one of the other key technologies is also Google buy Google Maps, right? And when Google buy Google Maps, this forms a basis of this thing called Google My Business. Google gives you a free directory where you can list your business, you can create posts, and the post will rank in SEO organically. Your Google My Business or Google Business profile can rank in Google search organically, even if you do not have a website. How many businesses have claimed their Google Business profile? Very little, right? So you need to do that. I will share the slides, right, with Nick, and then so that Nick can share with you guys. So next, Google made a series of algorithm updates, and this is very interesting. Google names it after animals. So Google Panda, February 2011, is an on-page filter. So what happened is that Google, people try to cheat the system by repeating so many keywords so that I can rank my website. And I repeat so many keywords, it become not readable, right? And people get frustrated. So when people get frustrated, guess what? They might want to hop to Yahoo, right? So in order for Google to prevent that, Google roll out this thing called Google Panda, which Google Panda will check how many times you repeat the keywords and whether it's readable, right? So that is the main job of Google Panda, to prevent all these things. And people were doing things like, oh, okay, I write words that is not readable by human because my words is font equals to white, my background is white. So I have a lot of words, it's not readable by human, but the Google search engine will be able to crawl. So all these things Google Panda is able to address. So don't do all these things anymore. Google Penguin, April 2012. This is an off-page filter. So apart from repeating keywords many times, people also get many links to their website. So Google Penguin, with the Google Penguin rollout, Google Penguin looks at this link relevant to you or not. How come got so many links? How come got forum links? How come got classifieds links? It's not really related to your business. So Google Penguin will say, okay, less relevant. So you have 1,000 links, but only 50 is relevant, right? So that's what Google Penguin will do. Google Pigeon is a local search update, meaning to say that before Google Pigeon, when you search wedding dress, the US wedding dress supplier will show. But after Google Pigeon, the search result is able to show better, more local result. If you are in Singapore, it will show all the Singapore shops. If you are in Hong Kong, it will show in Hong Kong, right? Next, Google Hummingbird. Google Hummingbird able to understand more human conversation, and Google RankBrain is the artificial intelligence of Google that enable to also understand and search better and coordinate with all these algorithms to experience a better search engine. So how can we make our business more searchable? There are 8 types of SEO that there are 8 types of SEO, and the first SEO we're talking about is the technical SEO. Technical SEO look at whether your website is loading fast, whether it's mobile friendly, whether you have the right site structure so that search engine can understand it. Next, we look at off-page SEO. What are the links that you are getting, right? Are they relevant to your business? Next, we look at content, how you optimize your content SEO, and how you optimize your keywords on your website page. That's on-page SEO. Local SEO is the process whereby you optimize your business to appear in a particular service state, particular county. It's more relevant for US, but in Singapore you can also optimize for certain things. So if you are a hairdresser in Bedok, then you can use Google local SEO to optimize such that when people search for hairdresser Bedok, you will appear, right? So image SEO, we have seen the power in the Takli example of the wedding ice sculpture. Video SEO is what you do, is the SEO activities that you do on your YouTube channel. And of course, e-commerce SEO is when you optimize your products, your services, and how you optimize the categories, how do you optimize the images, how do you optimize the URL structure for e-commerce. Next, here are the immediate tips that you can improve your business or your SEO immediately after this webinar. Number 1, you have to check your domain and hosting. So if your business is in Singapore, preferably you have a hosting that is in the same country as your business. Keyword in domain name. For example, if you have a certain keyword, certain business keyword in domain name, it used to be very important. Right now it's less important, but in a very competitive market where everybody is doing every aspect of the SEO optimization and you happen to have that keyword in domain name, your website will rank higher, right? So ensure that you have a secure sockets layer domain for your website, which is SSL. Now, next we talk about website optimization. So the interior designers have a lot of problem because they are just beautiful images with very little text. So how to SEO, right? You pay attention to mobile optimization, your responsive design, your website load speed is a key factor. Content optimization, always write with the readers in mind, and then the search engine. Ensure that you have what we call the keyword relevance, and then the topics relate with one another, topic relevance, and also how the topics relate to one another in a contextual manner so that you will gain authority. Optimize your image, file names with keywords. And video optimization is how you optimize your videos on YouTube. And of course, social media plays a part, having the right social media, having a social media presence, and also trying, after you have built a following, how you go live on your social media, like how we are going live on our Facebook to reach out to more audiences, right? So who thinks that you have benefited from this talk? So I'm just going to share with you what I have for as the next steps. So I actually have a SEO certification course, which is a 2 days class. Don't worry, I'm not selling it. I'm just letting you know, right? So I structure it in a 2 days format. where how you can make your business searchable. So we talk about business framework, the climate, environment, target market, competitor analysis. So we talk about all these things. What is search engine optimization? What you need to do before you start SEO, which is as what I given you. Actually, I given you almost everything that I'm covering in the course. It's just that I'm doing it in a 1 hour summary, right? So how you identify your buying keywords for your business and things like that. How do you plan your SEO? How you plan your website structure? Unfortunately, we can't really touch that, but there is a process in which how you do it. What are when Google look at your website, what exactly Google needs to see so that Google will find your information more easily. So that's called the anatomy of the website. And then on day 2, you have a hands-on, exact hands-on. And then we'll talk about technical SEO, on-page SEO, off-page SEO, image SEO, YouTube SEO, and we'll just wrap everything up together, right? So here are what people say about me. I love that he broke the complex and explained them. So Nick Issa, I also mentored him in the diploma program. Irene, I also mentored her in her diploma program. So these are all the past students, right? So my course is Skills Future eligible. It's a 2 days $500, but fully claimable Skills Future. And the difference is I am ITOL accredited. You get a UK qualification with a serial number, right? So I have a free gift for you all. So basically this whole talk, if you go to freegift.imseoking.com, you just enter your email there, and basically what you will see is a recorded version of a similar talk like this, plus because you enter into this, you get to be informed of any future talks that I have. This is my free lifetime coaching to add value to all of you. Below is my Telegram, t.me/SEO for B, means SEO for business, right? So if you join that Telegram group, again, there is no selling whatsoever. Every new YouTube video that I do up, I will share in this Telegram group. So with that, I thank you for the opportunity to share with everybody. I hope that it has been beneficial, and I guess over to Nick right now.
Thank you so much, Eugene. Thank you. I think that's very, very useful. Now, my question to you, Eugene, on behalf of the associations, can you also do something like that for us also?
You
Because
mean
also
for
want to reach out, huh?
You mean for which one?
Oh, we also want to reach out, like you also to reach out our membership database or all the activities that we are doing also. So,
Oh yeah.
Please ponder properly, because this is live broadcast, this is recorded. We have members and publics all in the room now, okay?
Yes, I'm sure. Definitely there are many ways in which Nick you're saying that we want to work together. I believe
Yes.
I think that's something that we can work on, definitely.
Thank you so much, because on the behalf of the associations, we are always on the lookout to grow our database, because our vision and purpose is to make a positive impact in the life of not only the learners, but also the trainers also.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now, dear fellow trainers and friends who are online now, do you have any questions for Eugene? I have no idea about you, but for me, definitely I have benefited so much, because I must confess that I'm an idiot in this area, as I mentioned way earlier. But earlier, Eugene has mentioned 2 key things. And first of all is that for me, I must log out of my Google account before I can do the analysis. Otherwise, it's not fair, because I might be so-called bluffed to see the things that I wanted to see only. The second thing is that they are also ranking not only on Facebook, not only ranking on what's that called, Google, but they're also ranking on Pinterest, YouTube, etc. So this is something very important to me. Thank you so much for that, Eugene. Now, anyone got any questions?
Yeah.
Sure, Zach.
For Eugene. See, Eugene is very kind already.
Kartik, is it?
He has mentioned
Yes.
that he has a training program. Of course, feel free to attend his training program.
Yeah,
Sorry,
actually,
Eugene, what did you say, Eugene?
actually, too late to say lah. Actually, my training, I have one that's starting in Saturday, but it's too late. Registration has closed already. Yes, Kartik.
Okay, hi. You spoke about SEO. When you sign out, then you can get probably a more global sense of what the ranks and all that are. Okay, and now let's say okay, I'm from Singapore, right? But let's say I want to search for the local SEOs within another country. Let's say like Indonesia or Malaysia, just to know that market, the trends in that market, or US, or if you can forget US, somewhere else. Okay, how do I do that? Because I seem to be stuck with either Singapore. If I'm signing, I'm either stuck in Singapore, searches, or if I sign out, it's general, and I'm how do I go about that? How do I
That's
specify different locations?
that's a very good question, Kartik. And I think it's a very relevant questions. If you are looking broadly at trends only, right? Like for example, let's give an example, green tea, right? So if you're looking for trends in green tea, there is actually do you know that there is a website called Google Trends?
Yes.
Yeah. So why not let me just show you the demo is easier, right? Let me show you this demo, right? Just hold on, let me get my browser up. Okay, just hold on, let me just share the screen again. Right. So we are talking about Google Trends here. So it's actually trends.google.com. And let's say, for example, what you do is you type, let's say, green tea. Okay, so for purpose of comparison, I want to know whether green tea and there is such a thing as purple tea though. Okay, so in terms of I want to know whether green tea or purple tea is more popular. As you can see in Singapore, green tea is more popular than purple tea. But what I can do is I can do here. I can change. So if I change worldwide demand, so worldwide is still there. But sometimes what you do is when you change to certain countries, because I know that purple tea comes from the region of Africa. So maybe, okay, it's still green tea, but you get what I mean. So if let's say just happened that when I change to Africa, then you realize that purple tea is more popular than green tea. So that's how if you're talking about from a trend perspective, that's how you can look at it. But if you're talking about if you're a company with multiple offices and multiple location, then one of the way is you can use a virtual VPN to connect to the country first. Then you open your Google, and then it will be like as though you are searching from Vietnam or something like that.
Or so the VPN, that's where it comes in.
Yes, that's where you come in. If you have your company has multiple websites, that each website cater to a different market, then that's how you do it, because you want to know whether your Vietnam website, how it ranks in Vietnam, right? So that is one way that you can do it, right? But if you're talking about, if you want to know just general trends, let's say you want to go into the Asia region, you want to sell green tea or purple tea, so market research is Google Trends. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Thank you, Eugene. Is there any more questions? So that just feel free to tap onto Eugene. And Eugene has mentioned earlier saying that he has this 2 days program, which 100% claimable by Skill Future credits your fellow Singaporeans. So if you wish to know more, so maybe Eugene can also key in earlier the free gift that we can redeem in our chat group also. Please do that, don't be shy. Yeah.
So it will be, it will be at freegift.imseoking.com. So basically what I'll do is it is actually the a recorded version of a similar talk that I've done, right? In fact, you can also go to APTS Facebook also is there as well.
Thanks. Yeah, by the way, Nick, since we are getting into this Q&A, I think this topic is very useful. So usually we have a sharing followed by a discussion for any topics that people want to talk about training, right? Okay, I think because of the time, I think why don't we just combine this? So anyone who has any questions regarding SEO and all this, we'll use this session to explore this further. All right, so anyone else come? Anyone? Questions?
Can I check?
Bessie, yeah.
Sure. Hi, Bessie.
Okay. Hi. I just like you. I'm curious. Does it mean to say that when your search engine is on the top, do you need to pay more money to compare that without paying money, and you can go to the top also?
Okay.
Something I remember. There's some click here, click there, or something like that. You have to pay something like that.
Yes, good question, Betsy. There are two ways in which you can get to the top of the search engine. One is the faster way, one is the slower way. The faster way is when you pay Google, and every click you pay, right? So for example, if you are in a property niche, let's say is $7 per click, you pay $7 per click. This is regardless of whether people go to your website and close. So I give you an example. For somebody that is inexperienced, because Google Ads, you can buy your own Google Ads. So what you can do is you can quickly just go and buy Google Ads, and then you pay $7 per click. But the problem is your website takes forever to load. So if people have clicked 5 times and they go to your website and they close the browser, you would have paid $35 because $7 per click. And you, as a amateur, you might not even realize what is going on. So the first step for buying Google Ads is, firstly, you have to check your website load speed first and settle that. So that is the first question, which is paying Google directly, and that is the fastest. You pay Google directly, within 1 hour your ads is approved. Within 1 hour you are ranked for the particular keyword that you are searching for. Second point is SEO. So SEO, if you are doing your own, then is a lot of effort. So one is using money, one is using effort. So SEO generally, right? So then it comes to the point where, how long does SEO take to rank? So generally it takes about 3 months to rank. So what happened is I'm working on a page on this particular keyword. So what happened as a rough timeline, in 2 weeks time, this particular page might start to show up in Google page number 5, right? So one page got 10 results, so that means I'm within 50. Page 5 or page 6. So I'm within 50 or 60 results of, let's say, 1 million results. Then after that, what you do is after 1 week, from page 5, it will move to maybe page 4 or page 3. Another 1 more week, it might move to page 1. Also depending on how competitive your competitor is doing. If you are in an industry like, for example, aluminium grill and all that, where the whole industry itself, a lot of the businesses do not have a website. And if you come out with a website with solid SEO, you can really easily outrank your competitors, right? So it depends on what industry you're in and how competitive your other competitors are doing. So I'll give you an example. Many years back when I went for SEO class by a guru, so in my class we have 40 students, and out of 40 students there are 16 property agents. So you can know that property agent is they learn SEO themselves, right? So it's very competitive if you are you are property agent trying to rank your stuff, right? And that's why SEO, a lot of people misunderstand SEO wrongly. It's just about keywords. It's not about keywords. You need to move further away from there, and you need to ask yourself, what are the keywords that people are searching for that they have the highest tendency to buy? Then you optimize for that. Then your SEO will be effective. Yeah.
Right, great. Anyone? If not, I have a question. By the way, Eugene, do you know that Betsy is in property? You're aware of that, is it?
No, I'm not.
Oh, you know, you got special magical power.
But there's a way lah.
All right. Now, first of all, thank you, Eugene. Many of the things that you've listed under the topics that you covered, actually, they are very good. In fact, they are essential for people who are going into business in general. These are very essential things. Now, tonight, I think we are very interested in the particular area that is the SEO itself. And I'm just thinking bits of every training that you can give and all this. I'm hoping there's some quick takeaways. That means people can really, maybe just get some tips, and maybe they cannot implement everything, but at least they know what is going wrong, maybe what is not working now, or what they can do a little bit just to see some results. So what I'm saying is something that can make it useful. So maybe I give an example. Just now you mentioned something that's quite good. Like property agent, they won't search for like I want to find a property agent, in Google search, right? You say Bedok, 4-room flat, etc., and all this. And I think that is true. So something that Betsy, all this, you probably have learned and know before. And however, having said that, it also depends on the vocation, right? Like for example, what you're doing. So if a company is searching for SEO services, they are probably going to search for SEO expert or something like this. So maybe take your case as an example. People who want to search for your service, what do they search for? Maybe you show us. Then what do they type in the Google, and what kind of results do they see? Will you be able to show us in essence what actually goes into it?
Sure.
Hmm.
I'll share my screen again.
Okay. Yeah.
So again, firstly, whenever you want to check SEO result, is make sure that you are logged out. So that is a non-biased search. So let's say you are searching for SEO coach. You want to learn about SEO and all that. So in all this, I've got extra plugins, but right is not supposed to be here. So okay. So the search result is like that, 30 million results. I don't buy ads because I have an organic map listing here. And if you see this mobile number, this is my mobile number. Although you put open 24 hours, but please don't call me 24 hours. All right. Yeah. So this is my mobile number here. Example. So these are all ads, right? So ads, because I don't buy ads, so we can ignore all the ads because I don't need to buy ads. And as you scroll down, I have page 1, number 1. This is my blog, imseocoach.com.
Okay, good. Okay, Eugene, so we make it interactive here.
Sure.
So in essence, for your example, like you said, people don't search for property agent, but you can see that it's not the case here because people literally type the word SEO coach because that's what they're looking for, right?
Yeah.
Not like Hougang 3-room flat. So different kind of situation. So in this case, then you capitalize on the key phrase SEO coach and then you work everything around it. Is that what you do?
Yes, in this case, yes, because I have a SEO private coaching, so it depends on what you want to target. Like for example, in this case, I want to target a SEO private coaching. So people who want SEO private coaching, they will search for SEO coach.
Okay, so essentially you have found your niche Your niche is you want to essentially you are coaching. You're offering coaching services in the topic of SEO
Yes.
So that means you are not in the business of helping organizations, company to help them optimize their search engine. SEO, SEM, and etc. and all this. You are not doing that service.
I am doing that service as well. I am doing that service also. But in terms of the SEO and also partly about my branding, because I have a YouTube channel. So my YouTube channel, my URL is imseoking.com. And
right.
Yeah, my blog is imseocoach.com.
Okay. Because when I just did a quick Google, for example, SEO services or SEM services, etc., and all these, then the result is different. You will see the different kind of results. That's why I'm wondering, in that case, that is also something that you offer. Then how do you actually stand out? And I'm asking this very bluntly, because we are very real here. We are learning because SEO is how do I put it? Right. For example, somebody who speak on humor. Last time we had this case before. All right. No, the most difficult part about saying that I'm a humor speaker, I speak about humor, the topic of humor, is that when you speak, nobody is laughing. The thing turned upside down, right?
Yes.
So in this case, you hit the thing also because you're talking about SEO, So people want to know that, okay, I'm a big company, but I want to, or big or small company, but I want my results to come out. If you say you can help me, then I want to see how your results come out. So that's why you have demonstrated to us the SEO coach is coming out, which is very good. All right, and I'm just wondering how you can also allow when people search for SEO services, SEO consultancy, how will you actually bring that out as well? And that will really be fantastic, to convince people. But anyway, the key is the main bulk of people are trainers here. So that's what I'm trying to ask, whether you can help to give a little bit of tips. Okay, Benjamin, you're here, is it? Benjamin, are you around?
I know Ben. I know Ben. Ben is a very established trainer.
Benjamin, are you listening, or is somewhere else? Okay, never mind. Benjamin, executive coach. I just Google again just to be sure. Okay, so Benjamin, I know him also. He brand himself as also a communication coach. So if you key in communication coach, Benjamin actually comes out in the Google map itself, the map, but the one that you said, right? The map itself that show the address, etc. However, if you go to the websites, you don't see his website coming out. So a quick tip. Therefore, how do you turn things around? How can he appear in the first page? In the website result. That means drive people to the website, not just the directory. Yeah. Can you give some just quick example?
Sure. But before that, I want to address your earlier query about why I'm not ranking for SEO services and SEO consultancy and things like that. So I just want to get the records straight here. I am actually doing such services for warm market, for people that already know me. I don't do en masse. So that is the reason why I intentionally don't do the SEO for such things. So people engage me because they have interacted with my YouTube. They know me, they know my lives, and then they realize that I teach everything in my life. I don't hold back. But then they realize this is too much for them. Then they come to me for SEO services because they have already encountered me. So in that scenario, I'm not doing mass market SEO. So I have no need to optimize for that area lah. I'm unique in a way, right? Because I just do boutique clients, right? So circling back to the question of like, if let's say your map appears and your website doesn't appears, then what will happen, right? And a very quick tip that is, I'm gonna do off script here, right? And I'm gonna pull out one slide that I am sharing in my exclusively in my masterclass only, but I'm gonna share it here. Just give me a minute. So because I think I really want to add value to it, and it's a very good question that you asked. So the key to having that is, remember earlier we talked about the identifying what is the buying keywords. I think that is the main bulk of it. Just give me a minute. Let me zoom into the slide right now. Okay. Okay, right. I've got the slides here. So this is the bonus for everybody. One of the key things is, after you have identified what is a buying keywords, you structure your website in this thing called the website silo. Basically, this concept of silo, S-I-L-O, is a technical term. So the term of siloing meaning to say that you organize your website into logical blocks of information. How is this seen? Imagine Google walking into a department store and your website is that department store. Is Google seeing that all your ladies dress, ladies shoes, ladies scarf, ladies watch, all organized into ladies department? Or do Google see that your ladies stuff is mixed with men's stuff? Why is this important? Because if you structure your website in a proper silo format, then Google will be able to find the things and quickly figure out what your website is for. Remember, the first time when Google encounter your website is only keywords. Then Google look at the pages, Google look at, oh, this page you're talking about these topics. Then Google start to look at other pages, or this page is linked to this page. Then Google start to understand the contextual relevancy. When Google understand the contextual relevancy, the topical relevancy, the keyword relevancy, then Google looks at how you relate with your competitor, and Google looks at your relevancy. So the part that can hold Google back is not having a proper website silo. Because if you're not having a proper website silo, means Google will stuck at the keyword level, and then Google will find it very difficult to how your page correlate with one another. When Google finds it difficult how your page is correlate with one another, Google will find it very difficult to even move to the next step to compare how you rank with your competitors. And just as a closing, so silo give us an idea of how we can group our structure of website and keywords into keyword relevancy, then after into topical relevancy, and eventually contextual relevancy. And that's where Google find that you are relevant. Google will start compare you with your other competitors, and Google still find that you are relevant. And then this is how you actually structure your site. So imagine I have a power tools business. So my power tool business, I sell 3 types of products: cordless power tool, electric power tools, and gas power tools. And through that, basically let me do some annotation. So imagine Google managed to discover, this is Google managed to discover cordless drills page. Google then realized that your page is talking about cordless drill. Then Google looks further, oh, this page is under cordless power tools. Then Google will see, oh, cordless planners, cordless hammer. Oh, this whole group of page is under the cordless power tools, right? So Google discover one page first. Now Google discover one whole section. Then Google goes up to your home page. Then Google sees that your home page has cordless power tool, electric power tool, and gas power tool. Now Google looks at the category of electric power tools, and Google see electric drill, compressor, and saw. And then Google will say that this group of pages is talking about electric power tools. Then Google will look at the same thing, gas power tool. These are the 3 pages, and Google look at this. So when Google looks at this whole thing, when Google looks and understand this whole thing, all your pages and all your posts together, then Google will realize that you are a power tools website, and you are stronger than your competitor because you are a power tools website. One last tip for everyone. Let me stop share first. Just hold on, let me just. So okay, so this is another example that of the SEO that I've done. This is a different example so that you can see. So air compressor Singapore, you want to buy air compressors, you go down, you look at all these things are ads, and then you look down here, the map. Okay, my client is ranked in the map air compressor Singapore, and also so my client is here, my client is ranked here. So let's look at how this website was able to rank in Google, right? So firstly, Google will look from left to right, top to bottom. So Google will look at first the home page. The home page, Google top, look at all these keywords that are related to air compressor, right? Then Google will look at products. Google will realize that all these are actually air compressor and air compressor related products. Then Google look at the services. Oh, you do air compressor installation, repair, you do the compressed air system design. And then you look at industrial application. This tag industrial application is intentionally put there because I realized that my competitors do not have industrial application of air compressor. So I put up this section to make my website more relevant than my competitor. Then of course you have the relevant FAQ. And because of all these things that I optimized, my client was able to rank for Air Compressor Singapore. Yeah. So I hope that the key thing is the silo portion, which is very important.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
that is how it actually defines how logical your information is being stored, and so that it makes Google easier to crawl your website. Yeah.
Right. Thanks, Eugene. Thanks for that. I really appreciate that. And if Eugene, you're there, that whatever Benjamin, Benjamin, whatever Eugene has shared, the silo, I think it's beautiful. He went down all the way to 3 to 4 sections. I did a quick look at the communication coach again and run down. Some of them are institutions and all this, so I just cut them aside. I look at one of the lowest ranking, but first page, redshoe.com.sg. So I went in to verify which is true. They have different strings. They talk about communication a lot. But the thing I noticed about that is they only went down to second layer. So that means their menu, first level menu, second level menu, that's it. They don't break down the subsection anymore. So which means Eugene, if what you Benjamin, if what Eugene shared is the mantra, all you need to do is you break down to third level and fourth level, then you will supersede them and go to the top already. Yeah. All right. Yeah, Eugene, thanks a lot. I think it also helps that your friends, your client, the website is the URL is air compressor. I mean the name helps also but not all of us can do that. That's why some people call themselves John the coach, John the trainer, Andy the coach, etc. and all this, right? Yeah, it helps to put the name in also.
Yeah.
Great. Thanks. Nick, any more questions? Come. Very useful information. Thank you, Eugene. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. There's no question over at my side. Just a gentle reminder that our event is from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. on the last Thursdays of every month. So in fact, we have overrun already. So if you have any more questions, we always welcome you to take it to our Telegram group or our Facebook group on our APTS, Facebook group or even Telegram group. Thank you, Benjamin, for your contribution also. So this is Nick. I'd like to wish everyone a great public holiday ahead. And if you wish to have more information of what Eugene had mentioned earlier, do go over to our APTS website or even Telegram groups also. We'll be sharing all the information over there. And this is Nick on behalf of APTS and everyone. Wish you God bless, stay healthy, be happy, enjoy a super long holiday, and stay tuned for more information and the next speaker for May. Good night, goodbye, God bless.
Good night. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Eugene.
Thanks, Eugene. Good night.
Eugene.
Thanks, guys.